sore semuanya. A very good afternoon to everyone. Thank you to the Indonesia Corporate Secretary Association and as well as Olahkarsa for inviting GRI to share about sustainability reporting today. Thank you very much. So let me introduce myself. Ibu from ICSA also has kindly introduced myself. I'm Dewi. I joined GRI last year as the country manager for Indonesia. Today I'm going to share a bit about sustainability reporting and what actually constitutes good sustainability report. Okay, actually before I start, may I have a show of hand, like how many of you have heard of GRI before?
A lot of participants.
Okay, I actually expect everyone. That means that we haven't done a very good job in Indonesia, that not all of you from the company's corporate secretary are aware about GRI. So a brief introduction about GRI. GRI stands for Global Reporting Initiative. We are an international organization that is non-profit, and our core business is actually setting standards for sustainability reporting. And then these standards are used to help companies to communicate their impacts and to help them to be more transparent to the stakeholders. And these standards are actually public good. It's available for free in our website, and it's available now in 13 languages, and one of them is Bahasa Indonesia. A bit of history about GRI, why GRI was set up. I think many of you here probably heard about GRI only recently, but GRI has been set up was set up in 1997. Why was GRI set up? If some of you know about the Shell oil spill in Alaska in 1989. So after the big oil spill in 1989 in Alaska, so there was a public outcry. Why? Because back then, companies are only required to publish financial report. But the oil spill was an environmental catastrophe, and it wasn't reported by the company at all. So GRI, not long after the oil spill, so there are some organizations who started to rally, and then that's why GRI was set up. So when GRI was initially set up in 1997, it focused a lot on environmental standards, and now it's slowly expanded to social, governance, and economic impacts as well. So we have been 26 years. Okay. And I'm going to share some statistics about GRI. So on the 26th year of GRI, we have achieved quite a lot, I would say. So there are two statistics here, two figures here that I'm going to focus on. The first one is the fact that 289 policies in 85 countries around the world actually made reference to GRI. And then as of last year, there were more than a million downloads of GRI standards. And this was an increase of more than 50% from the number of downloads in 2021. And what's more interesting is that out of the 1 million downloads, 50% are downloaded in non-English language. So any other language than English, for instance, Bahasa Indonesia, Chinese, and some other languages. So it actually showed that now the sustainability reporting standards is something that is really being sought after in different parts of the world. And a lot of people are now are willing to learn more about sustainability reporting. These are the results of the survey. The right one, the bar graph, is actually the KPMG survey result, and the left one, the matrix, is PwC. So if you look at the KPMG survey research, so they survey N100 regional, N100 countries. N100 countries are the top 100 the countries with the the top 100 countries with the most revenue in the respective countries. So they made a survey of, if I'm not mistaken, 43 countries. So 100 of these companies with the top revenue were surveyed, and we could see that actually GRI is the most used standard in ASEAN region, leading with 81%, followed by America and Europe. If we look at the graph, the matrix here, this is from PwC. As you can see also, when a company is communicating about the sustainability impact, sustainability journey, the most widely used standards and framework are actually GRI and Sustainable Development Goals. I also would like to echo what Joe mentioned earlier, that there is right now, slowly but surely, a shift from voluntary to mandatory reporting. If you look at the graph here, the map here, these are actually the mandatory reporting that slowly they have been adopted or will be adopted. So I believe all of you know already what sustainability reporting is about, but I'll just also to share a bit about what sustainability reporting is. So I'll start from the bullet point below. So sustainability is a journey. So it's not that, because some people ask me, I already have a sustainability report. Does that mean that I'm sustainable? It doesn't mean, we don't take it that way, because it itself is a journey. So sustainability report is a medium for you to tell the sustainability efforts of your company. And the second one, sustainability reporting is a journey that's focusing on the stakeholders. Why? Because you need the input from your stakeholders to make the report. And the report is also meant for your stakeholders. That's why it's stakeholder focused. The third one is sustainability report also helps company develop sustainability related strategies and continuous improvement activities. Why I said so? Probably when when a company has just started with the sustainability reporting, they do it for the sake of reporting. But over time, they will realize that, what am I going to do with all these reports? And if they have, if really they have ambition to do better, then they will use it. They will use it like, I think in the earlier some speakers earlier, they mentioned about baseline. So they could use it as, they could look for the baseline and how they are going to improve it. So sustainability report actually helps company to develop these sustainability strategies as well. And it is important that whatever that your story that you're going to tell through your sustainability report, you have to make your report readable, so easy to understand for your stakeholders. So let's make abstract issues tangible and concrete and easy to understand. And it usually includes the company's most significant impacts. I think this is very important also, most significant impacts. And over time, if companies take it seriously, it will actually help company in goal setting and also measuring performance and managing change related to sustainability in your company. So essentially, the practice of disclosing sustainability information inspires accountability, helps identify and manage risk, and enable organizations to seize new opportunities. Another point that I would like to highlight here is about risk management, because the way I think if we read sustainability report, a lot of the report are still written in such a way that it just choose to share what is it the company has been doing. But I think it is also very useful if it can also be used to manage risk in the company. I'll take an example. So for instance, if a company has a production facility which actually extract groundwater. So probably right now, there's not much factory, or there's the factories is built in an area that there's still not a lot of communities, not a lot of people living around the factory. So it is okay probably at that time to extract groundwater to a certain level. I'm not saying that extracting groundwater is okay, but I think probably at that point in time for the factory, yeah, it's relatively safe to extract groundwater because there's nobody around, there's no other companies. But over time, if let's say those areas, that particular area develops, if there are more companies, and these companies are actually drawing more groundwater, it is actually a risk for the company. If there are actually more companies, more factories are being built there, what would happen to the groundwater? What would happen to the groundwater that we use, the groundwater which is a material that is necessary for the production in our factory? So that's why I said that it's also important, because it's also important to use the sustainability report as a risk management tool. Why? Because, for instance, for this factory, if let's say they have the data of the water extraction use, over time they also realize that this water is actually an important input in our factory, and now there are actually a lot of factories around, and all of them are also extracting groundwater. So what do we have to do about it? Either individually as a factory or collectively with the rest of the factory in that region. That's why I think that it is important when you report something, it's also a particular sustainability report. It's also important to use it as a tool to manage risk of your business. Okay. I'll share a bit of GRI standards. Probably many of you have seen this graph before. Actually, this GRI standard is available free on GRI website, and it's also available in Bahasa Indonesia. So GRI standards is a modular system of 3 modules. The first one we call universal standards. The second is sector standard, and the third one is topic standard. So what is universal standard? So universal standard essentially contains guidance on how to use GRI standards. And they are also what we call disclosure in universal standard, which has to be reported in all sustainability report. That's on universal standard. So, and then second one is sector standard. Over time, GRI also develops sector standard. So what is sector standard? Sector standard is developed to help company in that specific sector to report on the most significant impacts. Because these sector standards provide context to the sector, and at the same time, they also provide the topics that are relevant for that sector. So right now, we already have had 4 GRI sector standards: oil and gas, coal, agriculture, aquaculture, and fisheries. And then only launched earlier this month is mining standards, so for mining. So right now there are only 4, there are more that are on the way, and we hope to see more in the coming years, but developing standards is a lengthy process. It takes time because we consult with different stakeholders. It usually takes 2 years to develop a standard. And then last one is topic standard. Topic standard contains the topic, the material topic that organizations or companies usually report in, put in their report. So I have 6 minutes left, my goodness. So I was asked by the organizer, then what constitutes a good report? So these are the key concepts and reporting principles that are contained in GRI 1, the universal standards. So there are 4 key concepts: impact, material topic, due diligence, and stakeholder. So what is impact? Impact is the impact of your organization or your company on the community, on the environment, on the people, including human rights. And what's the difference between impact and material topic? Because material topic is something that gets reported in your sustainability report. So material topic is the most significant impacts that you report in your sustainability report. So you might have 20 or 30 impacts or even 40 impacts, but you might decide to report only 10 of the most significant impacts of these impacts, and these are the material topic of your organization. So due diligence is the process of identifying the potential negative impacts and also mitigate and prevent them. That's due diligence. Stakeholders, I think I raised this earlier, that sustainability report is stakeholder focused. You make the report based on consultation stakeholders, and then you also do it for your stakeholders. Okay, and these are the 8 reporting principles. So the first one is accuracy. So all the information that you have in the sustainability report, it has to be accurate. Balance. Balance means that you don't only present all the good things about your company, okay? Because it is also important for your stakeholders to know what are the not so good things, probably the bad things about your company, and how you are going to improve it. I think it's important also to report on that, because people can have an unbiased view of your company. Because I think the tendency is that people are reporting good things about themselves, but it's equally important also to report on the bad things. And when you report the bad things, also please mention how you're going to improve those. Clarity, it has to be clear. Comparability. So comparability means that over years, when you report something, that this is something that gets reported consistently over years. And if you don't do that, please also explain why in the sustainability report. Because when you report something consistently over years, it actually helps the viewers or the stakeholders to see how you have improved over years. And comparable, and doing things in such a way also help stakeholders to compare your company with other companies in the same sector. The 5th one is completeness. So two years, because that doesn't allow for comparability. And verifiability, it is also important for the report to be verifiable, because especially for companies that are using the sustainability report to look for investors, because some investors would actually require the reports to be externally assured. I'll skip through these topic standards, but all of this information are available on JIRA website. Okay, so if you look at the 31 topic standards, and a lot of people now are talking about ESG. So what is ESG and how does it relate to the topic standards? So if you break down the 31 topic standards to the topic of environment, social governance, this is how it looks like. And then, as you know, I think you are very well aware that POJK 51 to 51 require listed companies and also perusahaan jasa keuangan to report sustainability report. And the after POJK 51, we also have SOJK 16, which includes, which actually helps show what is how would a sustainability report look like. And so those topics in red squares, those are the topics that are covered in the SOJK 16. Now, so what is now the trends in reporting? I think all of you have heard about ISSB, IFRS, ISSB S1, S2. Have you? Yes. So in sustainability reporting, we have what we call financial materiality and impact materiality. So what GRI covered is actually impact materiality, and financial materiality is slowly, I wouldn't say mandated yet right now, but encouraged to be, companies are encouraged to report on the sustainability that is related to financial materiality. I'll explain this in the next slide. So for instance, if you see at the graph here, for financial reporting, you have financial reporting. But now, some companies are also required what is the implication of sustainability issues on the financials of the companies. That's the financial materiality or sustainability disclosure. All right. So under this, we have ISSB, S1, S2. And then if you look at the very below, down here below, European Sustainability Reporting Standard, EFRAG, has two aspects of it. Financial materiality of sustainability and impact materiality. And the GRI standards is very interoperable with the EFRAG for impact materiality. We even now have the GRI EFRAG interoperability index that also available online for free. And I also would like to highlight that IFRS and GRI has an MOU in 2022. The idea of this MOU is that to work together to align the standards and framework as much as possible between GRI and ISSB. Okay, so what is, I'm sorry, I'll take probably 3 more minutes and I'll get this wrap up. So what is impact materiality and financial materiality of sustainability? So for instance, for GRI, GRI is helping company to report on their impact on the outside world. So it's inside out. So inside out perspective. So impact of a company on the world. Whereas the financial materiality of sustainability is what would be the impact or probably the sustainability issues would affect the financials of the company. So it's outside in. So as you see the graph, like if there's a factory over there, impact reporting is the impact of the factory on the world. And then sustainability related financial reporting is impact of the sustainability issues on the financials of the company. So I hope it's clear. So what is the example of this? So for instance, I take the example emission. So impact reporting, if you take the topic of emissions, is effects of organizations' emission on climate change, air quality, or public health. But what is the financial materiality of it? It's financial risk of emission through, for instance, regulatory changes, for instance, with carbon market, carbon pricing. How is it going to affect the financials of the company? That's an example. For instance, if for water, usually for impact reporting, we see what is the consumption of the water, how are we going to manage of the water, and what is the quality of the water that we discharge to the world. But the sustainability-related financial reporting asks the company to assess what is the financial risk of water regulations, or for instance, if suddenly there is water scarcity or drought or rising sea level that would affect the operations or financials of the company. So these are just examples, and please note that this is not like a very exhaustive list. So it's not exhaustive list. So it's just helping us to understand what's the difference between impact reporting and sustainability-related financial reporting, or what we call impact materiality or financial materiality. Okay, as I said earlier, like GRI and IFRS also working together on ISSB to ensure that these two standards of framework are closely aligned, interoperable, are aligned to make the job of reporters easier. So what we have right now is already this one on emission interoperability considerations for GHG emission when applying GRI standards and ISSB standards. This is also available for free if you Google it, you'll be able to find this one. Okay, this is the last part, driving sustainable business practices.
Ibu
So,
Dewi, can you?
yeah, okay. So I'll just take an example of a sustainability report because I'm talking about sustainability reporting. So how do we drive sustainable business practice? I'll take the sustainability report of Hitachi Global. So if you look at the report, you have the message of the CEO. Why is this important?
Yeah.
Why is it important? Because sustainability usually only works, it is top down. It's top down. It doesn't mean that it wouldn't work, it's bottom up, but usually it works if it's top down. So it's important to get the commitment of the C-suite, the board of directors, commissioners on the topic of sustainability. And secondly, for Hitachi, they even have the chief sustainability officer. Not all companies would have this, but for some big companies, they have chief sustainability officer. And what is more interesting is this one. They are really serious about sustainability. Why? They have a sustainability roadmap. You see the target that they set for environment, social governance from the year 2000 to the year 2050. And for instance, if we drill down further, for the topic of environment, they even categorize this into 3 different what we call areas on decarbonization, resource efficiency, and minimization of impact on natural capital. For decarbonization, they have the following targets, and they have the annual target for 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and all the way until they set the targets every 3 years, and they have this annual target, and then annually they reported how they achieved the target. Okay, so sustainability is a journey, and let's use sustainability report to share our stories. And very last one, because GRI is a non-profit, okay, how do we sustain ourselves? So we provide advisory services. So in addition to training, we provide a whole range of advisory services related to sustainability reporting. So these are the range of services that we do. And then secondly, we also sustain ourselves through GRI community membership program. So it depends on the size of the company. There are different pricing. And usually for the GRI community member, in addition to free professional certification program for 1 to 5 number of staff in the company, we also throw in free trainings for the company as well. Okay? So that's it. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for taking so much of your time. I hope it's helpful for
Big
everyone.
applause for Ibu Dewi. Thank you, Ibu.